You want to see how we restored this oak rocking chair and made a complicated arm for a rocking chair? Stay tuned, because that's what we're going to do today. Welcome aboard. Another Memphis Monday 205. Today we're going to try to fix and restore an oak rocking chair. Right now it looks like the arm is broke and some joints are loose. But instead of just talking about it, why don't we get over there and check it out? Let's knock off the chatter and get to work. Here's our oak rocker. The finish is pretty rough. Some of the joints are loose, but its biggest problem is this arm here is broken and it's come loose from the bow in the back. Here's a close-up of the part that's broken. This little piece right here, it's held on with glue and a screw back there, but this little piece right here broke off. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to take this arm off and figure out how we're going to fix it. Now I say it's made out of oak because it looks like oak, it feels like oak, but it was made in Malaysia, and so that's going to, if we have to replace that handle, that's going to be interesting trying to duplicate this wood. Now I've got to take that arm off, but all of these joints have a brad going into them. Over here, see the brad? Let's look at the arm. Well, there you can see the brad. You can see the brad going right through there, but it came out, and while I was just roughhousing with it. So let's see if this one will come out. Well, there are those brads, but they're either not very good brads or they didn't put them in very good, because they sure didn't hold this this arm on. I'm going to glue this piece on here like that, just using some glue, and then I'm going to put a dowel through it, and that should strengthen it. But I do have a plan B. Let me glue this on here and we'll talk about plan B. Plan B calls for carving this piece out of one of these blocks of wood. Let me show you how we do that. You just saw me making the templates, cutting out the little templates. This is the profile of the top, and this is the profile of the side. So all I got to do is transfer these lines onto this block of wood. So this is what the side looks like when you look at it directly from the side, and this is what the top looks like when you look at it directly from the bottom. Now in theory, I can cut out the top profile and then cut out the side profile, and I should get a blank of my part. Let's test that theory. thumping sound you hear is, I kinked this blade at one time. I flattened it out. I can see it and I can just barely feel it. But even that small imperfection is causing that sound. Well, I'm almost done here, so I'll just keep working. The theory here is you take these two, this is the side profile, cut that out. Now, you put all these pieces back on here. Here's the, I'll get you in closer where you can see what I'm doing. So here's the section I cut out. Okay, that'll go in there. Now I'm going to nail that back in place. Okay, now I'll go on the bottom and I'll nail this one back in place. So now I put it all back together. So now the theory is I can cut out this top profile and then my side and my front will give me that three-dimensional part. Let's give that theory a try. Maybe this is what you get for executing Plan B before you do Plan A. See the problem? I made, this is the, I guess this is the right arm, and I made a left arm. Well, we know how to do it, so if we need Plan B, we can always go back to it. Okay, the plan here is I'm going to put a couple of holes through this and put dowels in to reinforce it. I'm just going to use Tide Bond 3. I'm not going to use epoxy like I usually do. Now these dowels are going to go in pretty hard. Don't break anything. I got the dowels in there. I got to let that glue dry. Fill in some of the cracks. And I'm going to try Plan B again, since I got to let that glue dry anyway. I made me up another block here. When this glue dries, we'll make us another Plan B, only we won't mess it up this time. Well, I glue dried on that setup. Now what I'm doing, so I got the arm fixed up here. Goes like that. What I'm doing now is shaping it down to its normal size. I got our blank roughed out. I'm fixing to sand it now. Usually I can't, it's kind of hard to give tips on carving because there's so much art involved. But In this case, I could, because the trick is to use these templates and make templates, because chances are you're going to mess it up. And so if you make templates, you can make do-overs happen a little bit better. Okay, let's sand this thing down. Well, here's our arm, our right arm. We're not going to use, and you may think, Memphis, why in the world would you go to all the trouble of making this if you don't plan on using it? Well, two reasons. First of all, I wanted to show you how to cut out a complicated shape like this pretty easy. But also, whenever you pick between two fixes, and one of them's easier than the other, and you pick the easy one, you got to be able to answer the question, did human nature kick in and cause me to pick this easy pick? So anyway, I made this, so now that eliminates that. I think this is the better fix, but if we mess this up, we still have this. I'm going to reattach that arm before I do any sanding. First thing I do is I got to take these brads out. And if I try to pound them out, I might break something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just break them off. Now I'll probe down in there and get some of that glue out. Well, I took it off, so I should be able to slide it right back on. That arm was put on there with this tiny little screw. That doesn't seem adequate to me. We're going to use this big honking coated screw here. Got that arm on there. While that's drying, this thing's got these little holes all around it. I think they were like screw covers or something, but they've all come off. So I'm going to put wood filler in them because I have to do some sanding on this piece anyway. Now the sanding I'm doing is really just to clean up the surface, maybe break up the poly a little bit, because I want to put some polyurethane on it. Here's the stain we're going to use. It's a stain and polyurethane mix. It's classic Malaysian oak. Here's our restored rocking chair for Memphis Monday 205. There's the repair we made to the end. See those two dowels in there. And additionally, we didn't use it, but I showed you how to make a one of these complicated three-dimensional shapes. Well, there you have it for Memphis Monday 205. Today we repaired the arm of that chair, the right arm. It was kind of a small project, so I threw in, even though we didn't use it, how to make, this a three-dimensional shape by simply cutting out the side profile and the top profile. And when you get done, you come out with a three-dimensional shape that copies the original. So that's a good takeaway right there. All right, so like and share and favorite and Facebook and comment and all the stuff you do on the internet. But most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.